But before we can look at the budget discussion, or they can look at another issue. Usai, on the 1st of December, we see Usai, the Chief Justice, be issue out direction them because it said they want for use then direction there. So on the fight against drug. As we all know, drugs now one part the crisis system where government say then the fight now the country. We see Usai President Bio be announced directives them where make it be established a task force about 2 years ago. But this BNTM again will be get another hike in the country. Also, we see videos they go around the social media of how young people, especially, they take drugs and then they end up for lost their lives. Some they end up for get source them. And recently, plenty did the body they did on the streets of Freetown. And we don't allegation then say them body they die from drugs. So we make His Excellency the President being step up again on the measures them. He add 5 additional measures them. Well, for more the President be add the measures there. So on the 1st of December, we'll see Usai, the Chief Justice say a pull legal direction them on how the fight for the drug crisis they go on at the country. Well, where the Chief Justice be issues then direction there, so we see organization like CHRDI, Lawyer Society, being concerned because they say they want to protect the Constitution and the rule of law. And if you don't they follow the work where CHRDI don't they do, and I know saying a civil society organization where they talk on human rights and save the rule of law. Yesterday we see side and pull a press release through the official X handle. Well, on the phone we get the Chief Executive for CHRDI, na Abdul Fatoma. Good morning, Mr. Fatoma, and thank you for joining me this morning at the Breakfast Show. Hello, Mr. Fatoma. Mr. Fatoma. Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks for having me. And it's always a pleasure for joining on Liberty TV Online.
All right. Thank you. We have a pleasure for always get you now with various programs them. As I don't tell we viewers them this morning, on the 1st of December, the Chief Justice be issue out legal direction them where it say na forfeit the production and self-distribution of illegal substance system. And before that, His Excellency being released 5 additional measures them. And immediately where the Chief Justice issue out the measures there, so we see on a recent press release through on a official X handle, also on a serious concern but the new practice direction where the Chief Justice be issue out. On a press release say the new Judiciary directive them no match with the 1991 Constitution and several acts of Parliament. What in exactly make una believe say this directive illegal?
Okay, first of all, like you really introduced, we work around rule of law and human rights issue because we organization hold a firm belief that the rule of law is part of our democratic, the neck of our democratic system. So the foundation for the country, rests on the rule of law. So when we say that now, we clearly believe that, say, unlawful restriction of judges, then discretion, by the mandate of the High Court trial, denying them for let them go narrowly consider 30 years minimum from a directive, not a serious threat, to the constitutional provisions and also the liberty which judges then get for be answerable only to the Constitution of this country and all the laws of this country, not a directive or individual emotion or individual feelings. And we get already laws and we set out the parameters. If you call for speedily trial, we will know say we'll get delay in with trial proceedings. Yes, we go agree we will in support because we organization are a victim. We don't spend more than 1 year to wait for a judgment. We get people that will don't file complaint to the Chief Justice too. We don't wait for 17 years. We don't wait for 15 years. We don't wait for 6 years. We don't wait for 7 years. We don't wait for 10 years. It get them complaint the day before. So if we really say we now want a speedily trial now with Judiciary, it will be a welcoming idea, a celebrating idea to organization, because these are things that we'll be on the push for. But coming in with a directive, imagine if you did in possession with a drug, and then because the drug-related thing, when they find you guilty, you forgo 30 years. Already, we get more than 2,000% of people the way they now with detention facilities and with prison facility across the country above the number where it require. These data self before the US Embassy release before Human Rights Commission release the Ministry of Justice, the AG's office, and then self release in 2023. So then it gets huge security implication. Imagine, among the way they do police monitoring and court monitoring as well, the number of young people then at this country, where they within the age of 18 to 35, now then they're in the highest number in possession of drug, at this country. Then you get over 300 or 500 of them one day for 30 years. It gets a serious security implication. It also gets serious economic implication. We get a correctional service system, we say, we for do correction that more of punitive. But then it is a minimum, just in possession. But also the law way we get on the control of drugs, 2008, it also talked about, limitation for false offenders. Also, the minimum of 5 years.
So
even they go suspend sentences if you need rehabilitation, medical treatment. But this directive now, they clearly tell you that say the minimum way for give that person 30 years.
Mr. Fatoma,
yes, please.
The National Drug Control Act of 2008, we just make mention of Section 7 and 14 of this particular act don't already cover sentencing for drug offenses. Why CHRDI feels say the judiciary they override clear legal provision them where parliaments don't pass?
And the issue of that say then they give a direct mandate. The law already the way judges them for follow, but then can with their own directive them for take away, the judges them for let them not follow. So it's more about creating confusion, nothing new. Than most of the things that we put they're not absolutely new. So for it will totally be unnecessary for put some of them. If you come say we want a speedily trial, we want a weekend trials, that is a welcoming news. But for example, way back in October, they make an announcement, a public notice, say they not assign 7 judges and magistrates them. We now get for the sit down on Saturdays. Since then to today, we not see any of the reports say they don't sit down on Saturday. In fact, it give a public notice directing 7 judges according to that release, that document. But now, after a month later, then 7 judges, if they don't sit down, now it can't give them directive as how they for work. These are inconsistent. These clearly show ineffectiveness, unprepared judiciary, where a hazardous for this country. We life and hope. We hope and life for everything like this country hang on the judiciary. If anybody trespass you, the only hope where you get within the law that for go to the judiciary. If anybody who lock you they do business with her. The only hope where you get for recover your money that for go to the judiciary. If anybody harm you, the only hope where you get for gain redress that for go to the judiciary. But if the judiciary appear as a traffic light that they can on and off in yellow, red, green, like a disaster for this country. It's not new to we. Because the TRC report, whenever we talk about justice issue in this country, we'll go back to the TRC report. We want the judiciary for be like incompetent at the sub-region. Let them get a strategic development plan. The lack of strategic development plan don't put this judiciary into disarray. They just do things the way they want. We get the committee. Yes, please.
Yes, earlier on mentioned issue we get for do with the 30 years minimum sentence, where according to you, say this will pose a threat to serious security implication. For the sake of viewers who watch this morning, how that will create implication in terms of security?
Look, if like your colleague you say, section 7, right, and also 8 to 14, then talks about, when the minimum sentences of 5 years and suspended sentences for first-time offenders. But now, when you read that directive, anybody with them found guilty of drug-related issue, the minimum now from that directive are 30 years. So imagine that them catching possession with just one time a unlawful holiday, even in possession with whatever small amount of quantity. They don't, you don't need for big amount. Even the small amount, then catch now you earn. Right? You they go for 30 good years. Imagine now, way before the minute give 5-year, 10-year, or people the way they know say based on the evidence before the judge, and look at and say this person here be need rehab, then take advantage over them, and several other factors then come into play. So that judge they decide say no, they suspend this sentence, this person need for rehab, this need for be done, or this I look to say vulnerable, and they give 5 years.
CHRDI also they raise.
Hold on. So that no get for happen based on that directive straight away. Now 30 years, the minimum 30. And then we get the last time I checked, 3 weeks ago, we get 55 cases then pending on Kush-related issues, apart from the heavy raid that we become. So with these multiple raids the way police don't do and multiple arrests them, currently they feed around 200 to 300, people them. So with that kind of thing, you gather up to 500 people there. Nobody know they below 10 years in prison. They're all not 30 years. The long time we keep these people, the more money we keep keep giving them, and then again, if the national security this thing they know clearly say this get a serious security implication in as much as the economic implication.
Mr. Fatoma, CHRDI mentioned say the Chief Justice in legal direction them go force judge them for take instruction when not they inside any law. How dangerous then kind precedent there also be for salon judicial independence?
It's not dangerous, but this is not new. Like I say, even a recent public notice with them in pool with them say they don't direct judges, 7 judges them for sit down, a magistrate there up to weekend, and then now they even pull the directive like I give you job na Liberty TV as a presenter, then you don't begin work. Now after you don't begin work for 1 month or 2 months, they bring you job description. Then this now for follow. So you know the implications of that. You don't manage a station now. You clearly know the implications. You know they employ anybody under for be an admin or finance person. After you don't gather receipt for you, you don't make budget. Then after 2 months, you bring her now like your own job description. This so you for follow this work here I give you. So for me, the judiciary they in the blink of sinking. And with that, we should be worried as a country. We've been done to raise this issue, but we therefore now send a formal letter to the president. But let him really look into the judiciary. We've been on raise that with the president, and we correspondence them. We will raise another concern again based on this very issue we don't come to light and the inconsistency of the judiciary. We are 100% in support of government for the zero tolerance of drugs in this country. We want it to be done fairly. We want it to be done honestly, in all sincerity, within the laws of this country and with a human rights framework. Anything other than that, we vehemently oppose them and we vehemently challenge them in a legal channel in this country.
You just allude say una self na CHRDI then support on the fight against drugs na the country, and the way you talk to some other school of thought, then go tell you, then go argue say the judiciary just they try for respond to the drug crisis where they go na the country. Why una feel say this particular approach, quote and unquote, na just headline grabbing and not so sustainable legal solution there, Mr. Fatoma?
No, because one, we don't actually get that capacity for, let we set aside 7 judges extra, or neither put judges there on standby on Saturday for just this. The number of judges the way we get a magistrate, then they're so small to even the caseload the way we get at this country. The judiciary need, for be honest, to the people of this country. The government have not been serious for let we actually promote access to justice in this country. If you look at the current budget allocation to the judiciary, a low below expectation for let we get even a speedily trial, let we get them the actual human resource capacity, let we get them the actual equipment them for let them actually, even reduce. And these are the judiciary where they receive money from UNDP, then they go prison, then say then they decongest. And now the initiative with the non-pool, now for more overcrowd with judiciary. Imagine they take one jabata in your hand, you're going for 30 years more. And we say we get correctional service. These are a punitive actions. We want people there for no say Salona is 0 ground for drugs. But we for do based on what capacity. Now look the cell capacity that way we get. You're gonna police them, they're overcrowded. You're gonna with prison detention facilities, they're 200% overcrowded. When you look at the judiciary, anytime we organization where they feel say opposed to them bad doings them, pull a press release, then they put out a fanciful, provocative things them. Right? When they talk about a serious issue, they talk about guarding, they talk about, we come, assign 7 judges there, and then they don't respond to that. I asked a simple question on my Facebook. Would I get the report of the cases the way they don't sit on Saturdays? And mind you, this man, the Chief Justice, don't make the announcement with the immediate that this thing will start. Till that time to now they pull practice direction. Nobody know. We, naturally, know they're against the practice direction. The content and the elements in that. Some of them now we get issues with, and some of them not new. We already get the laws with the imposition for help or fight that. So we don't need much confusion in this country on their issues there. We just need sincerity and honesty. Any dishonest approach, counterproductive to this country's sustainable development.
So, Fatoma, if you watch from the release on a pull out from CHRDI, I just want to extract something the way they talk about emotional feelings, not for guide the judiciary. You can able to elaborate on that?
Law itself, they practice law with emotional feeling, because the law, the judge or the magistrate are bound by 2 things. 1, the fact before them. 2, the law. So you don't for the emotion. Any judge will get emotional feeling, or magistrate or a lawyer, he already biased to that case. So meaning fairness not there.
All right.
And one of the public service commodity where the judiciary need for serve the people of any country, Israeli in particular, is equality, and fairness. That is what justice is all about. Justice is not about you feeling how I feel or this, but they even see the utterances or judgment of, the judgment from judges, the way they read from the judiciary release, of cases the way judges don't preside over. The utterances from them judges, then they then sound like prosecutors. They don't even sound like a judge. They sound like a prosecutor.
All right, Mr. Fatoma, before you left, we quickly una talk about so many things them inside this release where I feel say we don't exhaust. But one of the things them where I want let you address quickly na the risk where you think say the Chief Justice in direction them go pose, especially to the separation of powers doctrine, especially the authority where Parliament gets. Because looking at the release where una put, una quote section 76 of the Criminal Procedure Act of 2024, where una say don't already give option for bail, even if na murder and treason case. Why una think say the judiciary want introduce rules them where they contradict to waiting parliaments that already pass?
They just come out of disrespect, because a clear disrespect. The need for no better than any other institution, because one of the mandates now for interpret the law and uphold the law and also work in separation of power. You get your own terrain and you get your mandate. So interfering directly with the intention to disrespect, disregard, the people of this country through the legislative house. That means, within the Justice Alwembi say in a letter, these are the clear evidence that matching out. And these are the valid concern now that the president need for act now than ever before. That judiciary need a total reform and it need a check. We, the people, they call in for let the judiciary get a check. We need to get a proper and functionable judiciary. What do we get? A blink of collapse judiciary we get by this country at the moment.
All right. Many thanks, Mr. Fatoma. We talked to we this morning for state CHRDI them position on the legal direction them where the Chief Justice been pulled on the 1st of December for direct how the government forfeit the drug crisis where the country they battle with right now. Well, we continue on this particular issue before we come to the main story where they look at this morning. I tell una earlier, apart from CHRDI, another organization where been pulled a press release where then self-raise serious concern, but then direction there, so where the Chief Justice be issued on the 1st of December. Now the Lawyer Society, we make up of lawyers them where they talk on issues them we get for do with the Constitution, the rule of law and human rights. Then self been pull a press release outside and states serious concern them. Well, on the phone for talk on behalf of the Lawyer Society, we get the president with we on the line, Wena Augustine Sorisembe Mara, and the president for Lawyer Society. Good morning, Mr. Mara, and welcome to the Liberty Breakfast Show.
Good morning, Khadija. Happy for the
All right. The public see yesterday Usauna pull a very strong press release where gets for do with the legal direction them where the Chief Justice be issue out on the drug crisis na the country. Why the Lawyer Society believes say the Chief Justice not get the legal power for put out this particular practice direction under the National Drug Control Act of 2008?
Right. Well, let me declare first, say the Lawyer Society supports the fact way government don't declare against drug abuse. And just generally the drug epidemic way that affect communities throughout Salon. And we also don't give a bad name internationally. We believe say this na affect way timely and affect way government for sustain for clearing communities of this epidemic. But we also caution say while government they do that, government officials and branches of government they get for ensure say they work in accordance with the law. So now that make, for example, we will see the practice direction with Chief Justice make. And we want to say, we think say the practice direction come up from a very good place. The intentions might have been really excellent, but unfortunately, the practice direction, we don't see any basis in law. We say that because usually practice directions they are given for let and support rules of procedure. Both side parliament make a law. Usually, if you want pass a what you then call subsidiary legislation, now then they usually do down the two regulations where ministers then can put before parliament. So practice direction pretty much they govern procedure. They can't touch and concern laws with parliament don't pass. And so we'll see the CJ put out that practice direction pursuant to the National Drugs Control Act of 2008. We've been concerned because while we support the fight against the drug epidemic, we also want for the rule of law be respected. And a number of things that the practice direction may contain, we also were cause of for concern for the society.
Una also talk about na the press release where una issue. Una talk say Section 91 give the authority to the Minister of Internal Affairs, not to the Chief Justice. This means say the whole practice illegal, Mr. Mara?
We did not go as far as saying it was illegal. We just say it don't be any basis in law. I think that characterization will left for the analysts then. But we believe, say, Section 91, if you want for cover the Chief Justice, if I don't make it expressly clear, say the Chief Justice can make practice direction pursuant to that section. But Parliament never intend for the Chief Justice make practice direction pursuant to the National Drugs Control Act. So the minister ain't get that power there. And by the way, so sometimes in law, even if you get the best of intention, you can get it wrong. But that we don't see with this practice direction, especially, somebody will wonder, say, this is needed because now, because of the fight, you want for let matters, then go to high court, let them give in to somebody with the accused. But these are fundamental rights, and we get a legal system where they presume even the most atrocious conduct on out and column, then it presume that person be innocent until the court of law through proper procedure, come to a conclusion, say that person be guilty, right? So now that situation that we get. So we also want for make sure, say we honor them procedure then they and we expect within the Constitution provide them freedoms, them protection they will give to accused persons them as well. So now them concerns and we been highlight in the press release because we want to make sure say there's a fine balance between the fight against the drug epidemic, but also the upholding of constitutional guarantees and freedoms with the Constitution on give to everybody. And then not so because they say they accuse you, it means automatically you lost your right. Or prisoners then, for example. So everybody, whether you're accused or whether you're a prisoner, you're entitled to their rights today.
The Lawyer Society mentioned issues that we get for do with the rule of law and also the support government in the fight against kush. As we all know, say kush may don't be an epidemic that the country where plenty people be get concerned about. I just want to ask whether the law provide opportunities for like they able for give certain decisions them where probably in impunity decisions them just because that particular drug fights the a concern for the people across the country.
Yeah, I think say way back in 2008, remember say 2008, we may get some cocaine incidents. So if the legislators intend to ban business, the punishments for the clear cuts, the punishments for the uniform, irrespective of the degree and size, therefore don't do one. So, but unfortunately, we get a situation in the Drugs Act where, for example, for some offenses, they even get suspended sentences. Right. So if the judiciary they come out with a practice direction, we pretty much they give blanket, sentencing mandates, to for them crimes that they worry. Because then what they do, they remove the discretion from the judge. We sit down, they listen the evidence. We they listen to what we call mitigating circumstances. And then now they go by that mandate and that directive. We think say unfair to those who are accused. Because mind you, you can get somebody innocent and flame out. So by this, it means that person will go 30 years, right? We sometimes the judge needs to look at the evidence and come to a conclusion that this person, even though he see some involvement or some complicity in the entire enterprise, deserve the 30 years way something maybe the young leaders and it deserves. So we think, already the legislation, the National Drugs Control Act, sufficient for cater for every situation. And another make me think, the practice direction, however well-intentioned it is, being fall short of the standards that the law provide and also the constitutional guarantees. Right, so we know they say this because we're opposed to the fight. They say this because we want to remind government the laws of the country should be respected. However, and whatever fight is being undertaken by government.
Mr. Mara, the legal direction then where the Chief Justice be issue out, they push all drug cases go na high courts. Why una believe say this particular decision they broke the law, and what in this mean for fair trial?
Absolutely. So from fair trial, we get situations, we get some offenses the way the Drugs Control Act gets. So, some of those offenses they require you for come before a magistrate. Magistrate go examine the evidence, and then magistrate can come to that conclusion. Say you get case for answer, then they send on a high court. But magistrates also can come to a position where say you not get case for answer. So if you send the person automatically in a high court, there's a presumption say you really don't come to that point already, say get case for answer, which is unfair. Because the idea of them, the idea of the committal proceedings in the magistrate's court are for review the evidence and see whether this case for go high court or this case no get any basis for going to high court at all. So, again, what I go mean if you send all cases and then the high court without review them at the magistrate court, it clog the high court system. So the committal proceedings where they review the evidence is intended for a shield and filter the cases that already go to high court, so that the high court is not inundated by cases that way perhaps unnecessary. So you can get a situation where because of this you get boku cases where they cannot court. So you want for filter them. But then also now the right of the accused person for appear before the magistrate court in some instances where the law provide. If now more if not grave offenses as the Drugs Control Act prescribe, then cases then they go directly in a high court. We understand that, but not all cases then should go directly to the high court. They should be reviewed at the magistrate court. If that one day fall within the jurisdiction of the magistrate court, then can decide them at the magistrate court as well.
Earlier, when you start for talk on the things they want to point out inside on a press release, you make it clear, say the Lawyer Society, they support all efforts of the government for fight against the drug crisis in the country. And when you look at on a press release, una point out certain things them where una believe say una just want for caution in as much as the country they fight this crisis, but then for doing legally according to the rules and laws of the country. Now, in a press release, when I point out say some drug offenses for be tried summarily in lower courts. Does this mean that the Chief Justice they override the Parliament?
Sadly, I cannot disagree with you with that characterization there. And again, like I say, you can get instances where somebody want to do good, but you do in a manner that is wrong, right? So I would think that this situation, maybe the Chief Justice, like every other Sierra Leonean, very, very, very displeased about what's in the go on with society. So you want for act tough, but you want for act tough, unfortunately, then tough actions and they fall outside the confines of the law. So we really encourage them to revise this. The Minister for Internal Affairs, by the way, a lawyer as well, he can put really good regulations in together and put in a parliament so that parliament will get the power to review the regulations and then pass them. And this reminds me what happened in COVID. Again, at the same time, where governments been go hurriedly pass them measures then they without them not put in a parliament. And I remember I took on the Attorney General then, and say, no, you don't get power for past COVID measures, put in a parliament. Then begin argue first, after some time, I see Mr. Brewer then be end up for Kango na parliament. Again, I think say government not for the acting haste. Government officials are not for the acting haste and for ensure say them do things the way correct and they in accordance with the law. Because government therefore sets the finest and the brightest example across all spheres of society. And I don't know we encourage the Chief Justice for do in this instance. However, well-intentioned, I reiterate their measures and their directions for be compliant with the law. If they're not comply with the law, it means they then get for infringe fundamental rights of even people that were accused of then grave offenses there.
Mr. Mara, quickly, before we left you and come to we other studio guests them, let we talk about bail. We wanna talk about, say, the direction make all drug matters non-bailable. Why wanna call this, say, na threats to justice and proportionality?
Okay, Khadija, let me make this clear. I think the Judiciary of Sierra Leone don't spend boku money, and I know say also international partners don't spend boku money on the Judiciary on the issue of bail. So if you go to places and you see bail is free, prisoners have a right to bail, yada yada. And I think say any tendency they happen, we see. For example, even the sexual offences model court, at some point, a past Chief Justice, they also put out a notice for say or a directive to judges not for give bail for sexual offences. So similarly, we also don't see this as well. That encouragement to benchers not for consider bail, or bail can only be given by the High Court. So at one point with the Judiciary, they say bail is a fundamental right, but some other points they also then sentiment and then directives they run contrary or basically at variance with within a non-talk and all the resources where they don't deploy on bail. Bail is fundamental. It's fundamental because of two things. One, the right way the Constitution recognize, and even the Criminal Procedure Act is sent one also recognize. But also, the reality is we don't get a prison system. So imagine somebody we know guilty, innocent. You run them through that prison system, get bail. 2-3 years after in trial, if you're not innocent, by the time that person they come out rehabilitated, they come out battered and beaten and affected by them lack of humane condition. So that make always, and we think say this always rush by the Judiciary for some offenses, bail do not be considered. Then for stop that one.
Finally, una finally, Mr. Mara, on a call on the Chief Justice for... Hello, Mr. Mara.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Mara, finally, on a call on the Chief Justice for revise and review the legal direction there. So, if the Chief Justice not do what are the next action where una ready for take as a law society where they defend the rule of law?
I lost you entirely.
All right, I will ask the question, say, finally, una call on the Chief Justice for review and revise the legal direction there. If the Chief Justice fail for review or revise them, whose other action where una ready for take as a body where they for defend the rule of law?
Well, Khadija, once we put this information out there, me know lawyers them way. If, for example, a particular judge want for reference a practice direction, they might raise some of them legal issues that we would raise concerning the practice direction. So what we can do usually now for give resources to remember them, for take objection to the use of a practice direction, any basis in law, right? And when they happen, once you get one or two judges them way, then point out to them, say there was no basis for this, then we expect say they will take the appropriate action. Yes, but I believe say the Chief Justice done like every other person don't read the press release, and I'm very, very sure that he and perhaps the Attorney General go hang it and see how they cable for, do the right thing.
All right, many thanks. So you talk to we, Augustine Sembe-Mara, the president for Lawyers Society. Well, that's now issue we get for do with the legal direction them where the Chief Justice been issued out on the 1st of December. Also, he talk about the fight against the drug crisis in the country. And if people can remember President Biosef, this BNTM been make 5 additional directive them we add to waiting a bidon pool because for the country they under drug crisis, and this after where the president bidon pool then directive there we see outside the Chief Justice himself be issue out legal direction them, but don't they see outside civil society organization them where they fight for protect the rule of law, they question the legality where the Chief Justice gets for pull them particular legal direction there. So, and they just listen to the president for the Lawyers Society, we end by saying then they ask the Chief Justice for let it go review or revise some of them legal direction there because it say that go override the powers of the Parliament. Well, as always, Liberty TV, we like for bring all sides to the story. Of course, we not get the power for talk to the Chief Justice, but the Judiciary gets somebody where they talk for them, and the Judiciary then spokesman quickly there with we on the phone, Moses Kamara, where go can address all of them concerned there. So we come out from the Lawyers Society and Sef Abdul Fatoma of CHRDI. Good morning, Mr. Moses Kamara, and welcome to the Liberty Breakfast Show. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, good morning, Judicial.
I believe so. You go don't see a press release we come out yesterday from the Lawyers Society and CHRDI where they talk about the Chief Justice not get the legal power for issue the legal practice direction them under the National Drug Control Act of 2008. Firstly, how you go respond to then two body there so where they question the Chief Justice illegal powers where you get for issue legal direction them?
Well, actually, I don't want to limit the view of the judiciary into the 2 press releases a day, because from yesterday to today, we've got a lot of press releases that will be issued out by various institutions, various organizations. We've seen it talk by various people then, some the support and some need the support, but I would say majority support the action. And even when I talked just now to Mr. Mara, I was watching the comments, and the comments you feel say so many people that support the action. Notwithstanding that, we want let people understand, say, the practice direction is not an illegal act. Let me make our so first clear.
that the practice direction is not an illegal right. It is a legal right given to the Chief Justice for ensuring it address issues of national concern. And this is not the first time. It was done on the issue of rape, and we see the impact it creates. Now, we need to see rape and sexual penetration as it was rampant before. You understand? Now we get the issue of drugs, and we know how the issue of drugs don't ravage with society, how it don't put we use them then, I don't destroy life and properties, I don't make family, they don't become unhappy. And if we see government commitment in the fight against that, just like when Mr. Maya said, it's everybody concerned. You see? So it's like, while the practice direction is not illegal, it's not illegal, and also backed by the intention of the Honorable Chief Justice for ensuring I am at the seat and let us fight, let me give you support. When we watch at the press release, let's forget about the issue of bail. There are certain times the provision are there, people that they cannot court, but evidence can make them not to grant you bail for the entire trial. You understand? If the evidence they point at you, they're not granting bail for the entire trial. So let's put it aside in the first place. The other thing we want to let people know is that the issue of drugs, it falls under an offense what we call illegal possession. So they're not get for asking why you owe them. The moment they catch you with them, obviously an offense has been committed. Now for justify was this in his possession. So that is why most of them, when they can court, they find out say that they plead guilty. But besides the aspect of bail, which is stated that bail should not be granted, there is a provision also on the practice direction, which says any matter will come before the court on the issue of drugs. Therefore, ensure say people then, the judges, the judiciary, try expeditiously. And the highest authority now, the judiciary, now the Chief Justice. And once the Chief Justice has given an order, every judge they go through them. You understand? So with the ensure expeditious trial, a very, very way to say, because cases are there by the time like the cases that we don't witness, we don't deal with. By the time they say 3, 4, 5 days, 1 week, they don't know with the matter. So you see, so in short situation, you're not going to say bail is relevant. Because at the end of the day, in 1-2 weeks, you don't determine whether the person is guilty or not based on evidence. So we have to look at the way at which we don't try cases there expeditiously for justify the aspect of bail. But let us also look at it. We don't see situation also with the grant bail for people then, Khadija. With a grant bail, with good intent grant bail from the district, we say, okay, for the fact that you seek, let us grant you bail on those issues. Then people then not show up again.
Moses, the practice direction try for fixed mandatory sentences. This now one way lawyer society they won't say this they weaken the judicial independence. How you go explain this?
Well, if you say judicial independent, when you talk about judicial independent, it is wherein the act, the decision of the judge or the case is subjected by law. I've said the practice direction is not an illegal process. It is not illegal. You understand? That is one. Then the act itself not tell you, say, you need a sentence, custodial sentence. It say a minimum of 5 years. You understand? So if the practice direction they give say a minimum of 30 years, it is because it's an emergent issue. Now let us say sentencing somebody, Khadija. Let's put it this way, and to our listeners then, sentencing somebody for 30 years and let that person or sentence them for 5 years, 6 years, where if the person come out, the person get the tendency or push that person down on bail, the person get the tendency for operate, the syndicate where they operate, and destroy the life of promising young people then to 10, 15, 20 people then. Which one way great? You see, there are certain times when we talk about this human rights, you understand, at times you ignore it for the greater good. we've seen in this country during the war because we wanted peace. We say no, blanket amnesty is given to certain people because we wanted peace. Because at that time we know that peace is greater than the law.
All right.
It's just like when they say there are certain times mercy is greater than justice.
Okay.
So there are certain situations where they put together, we look at the situation. Can you say I'm a parent? I'm a parent. I get one picking. When I left now also for can work, the picking then at school. Nowhere is safe. We see the conviction when we give them this there. So a woman they sell cold water, but underneath it now push in the center with picking them. I think one of the safest sites for with picking them at the school. Now Prince of Wales. And that woman was sentenced to 30 years imprisonment. We've seen those situations. We've seen situations. Look what they talk about in case na TikTok under this one guy they call it or whatever. The moment they say in they go buy push to this woman. This woman pull a brother offline for can help her sell push. So mistakenly this woman, whether you know what's in a push or not, they say let they have one pack, let they smoke. When the woman can mix that in brother, then they smoke that push day. And beat her say a rub in not that gum. The Bobo say, when they smoke, I say, this is what the shop like to my brother.
Moses, there are concerns we come out from the Lawyer Society and that of the of CHRDI. Don't you think says then concerns and the judiciary need for work on certain concerns that we come out from the two institutions then they?
The judiciary need to ignore any concerns, affirmative or negative. We need to ignore them. We need to ignore them. The leadership of the judiciary is always open up to their concerns today. And we want to also make for understand, say, the world no say, the nation no say, the Honorable Chief Justice Commander, are one of the pioneers of the bail regulation. You understand? But in a situation, we are in the fight against Kush. We see every day up picking they die, boy picking they die out of Kush. You see, and in fact, it gets a lot of impact.
All right.
When they get, they say that they pick 120 body every day. When they see them as streets, how their life day. It's worrisome. So there are certain times we need to understand. We look at the greater good. You understand? What will this help us to be?
Quickly, Moses. Finally, the judiciary go review them particular direction they are based on feedback, or the judiciary go stand by the direction them?
We said every concern is considered. Every concern is considered. With the way the concerns them. Like for right now, you go down a comment section. You the final say, nearly 90% of the comments there, they're in support of the decision taken by the Honorable Chief Justice. You see, there are certain times I've said there are certain times when issues of national concern, they come in conflict with certain things. The issues for fight the issues, they are very, very important. When COVID comes, they say church for worship. We see they say no. We are not need to go to church because the situation by then warrants and one of the weapons then for use for fight against that. So we want to talk to other institutions and organizations. Let them understand. In fact, we treat the church a lot. When they see them, let them understand, say, fighting this push, let we all come together and look at the intent and let us fight it. Khadija.
All right. Many thanks, Moses, where you join with this morning for respond to the different concern them we don't come out from the Lawyer Society and that of CHRDI for SECA, the legal direction them where the Chief Justice be issue on the fight against the drug crisis in the country. Well, in case you just did tune in, this is the breakfast show where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV. We start with a very important legal issue. Usai, the Lawyer Society, they question the Chief Justice in powers for release the legal direction there and that of CHRDI.